Hey, what's up YouTube? Scabadger here, and we're back on day 31 for another episode of our 100 player fan game series number 2. So this audio here, well at least the first 2 minutes of it, is recorded in post, so well after the facts. So I'm just going to take this time while I just show what's happening on screen, just to talk about this episode and yeah, just some other stuff. So I'd just like to start by saying that at this point I'm thinking of turning this conflict that I'm about to show in this episode into a versus, so very similar to what we saw between the elites and the RLF. This time though between me and Indochina. At this point in the war, and what we're seeing now is we're about to kick off one of our first major naval engagements. So between the RLF and the elites, I covered, or am still covering, the next episode of that I haven't even started, so I don't know when that will be done. I covered pretty much the air aspect of fighting, and this time I want to focus more on the naval engagements and what's happening at sea and, you know, how I really think about those and the tactics behind them. So if you guys would like to see that, let me know, because, I mean, they take a while to produce, but I feel like there's definitely a lot that I could, you know, really say about this sort of engagement and what you're going to see here. Saying that though, I do feel like I covered this engagement pretty well in the content you're about to see. So before we get into the actual content, I'm just going to go over what's actually happening at this point. So at this point in the war, I've tracked down the Indo-Chinese fleet to a location up north near Indochina. As we can see at the moment, I'm scouting it out, and I'm moving in at the moment to take it out. Earlier on, I got a few lucky hits on some of his aircraft, which were refueling, and I felt really happy about that. That was a really good hit. I don't know why I'm putting too much effort into talking about that, but I thought I'd just highlight that because I bring it up again later on. So anyway, we're moving in at the moment to take it out. We've got our scouts out, and we're just tracking their locations at the moment. So at this point, any second now, we're going to kick into the actual commentary. So we're back a little bit later on, and as you can see here, we're finally caught up to the Indo-Chinese fleet. So as stands at the moment, we're going in, and we're finally going to get revenge for what the National Chinese Navy did to our first fleet. Although we're getting it against Indochina. So I mean, at the moment, if we have a look at Nationalist China, Alberta's kind of getting that revenge for us. So it's all good. So it looks like that's going to be done pretty soon, and that'll be awesome when it is. And then it's my turn just to play around with Indochina for a bit. He's got a pretty good defense lined up at the moment, some pretty good defensive fortifications running up around here, some rocket support in behind, but we're coming from this side. So as stands at the moment, we're taking out his ships and really trying to deal a decent blow to his navy. As we can see here, his battleships are retreating, but mine are slightly faster. Now what we do have to be careful of though is these submarines right here. I don't know what orders he's giving them, so my naval bombers are redeploying to figure that out. In the meantime, I'm going to move these battleships a little bit further forwards just so they don't open fire on them in the meantime. My battleships are substantially faster than his, I believe. 36 to 30, so it's not much, but it's a good speed upgrade. Anyway, okay, so like we predicted, well, I didn't really predict that, his submarines are moving forwards, but that's okay. He's stuck in this bay, so he's not going anywhere. He can retreat back as far as he wants, but it's still at the end of the day, he's not going anywhere. So the plan of attack now is a lot simpler. Let's just regroup all of my ships into one stack. Submarines are going to stop there, and we're going to send these ships forwards and just up a little bit till about there to make sure the submarines are in range of our destroyers. We're going to leave that group there out behind in case something comes up behind us, and once these group up, actually we can just do it now, let's split and send all of our DDs to attack that group of subs. There we go. And that's how this is going to go. So as you can see, when our cruisers opened fire on this group before, we managed to take out a sub. So that was pretty good to see. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. So what's going to happen is he's going to charge on forwards with his submarines. He's going to run into my submarines. They're going to get locked into a very fierce battle that ultimately I'm going to win when my destroyers move up and start shelling them out. So hopefully I want to get up there and I want to start shelling them before they get close. and then I should be able to deal some really good damage. So that's the aim right there. Be back a little bit later on with a little bit of an update. So we're back a little bit later on, everything is finally in position. We can see that he has hit our subs, and he is about to attack them. We did lose one sub, and that was due to the appearance of his destroyers. Now as stands, we're about to get to do our next hit, and at the moment what we're doing is our cruisers and battleships are lined up on the enemy destroyers. We really want to focus on taking them out, so there's a lot of firepower right here. Between the cruisers, for example, there's about 70 points of damage coming their way, and from my battleships there's about 90, so a lot of firepower is about to hit those DDs. My destroyers, I would focus them on his destroyers as well to wear them down faster, but if I do that I'll then be in range of his battleships and would actually hit the subs in the process, so we can't do that. So as you can see, everything just hit. We hit the enemy submarines, and I believe we managed to take out one of them. I believe there was 12 there before, maybe 13, but we also managed to hit our enemy's destroyers, and as you can see we dealt a good blow, down from 14 to 9. So this is going to keep going on like this for quite a while. I've also grounded my naval bombers because he was getting pretty close with his patrols, and I didn't want to lose any, but I should probably check my arse again and make sure nothing is creeping up behind me. So this is something I should probably do a little more often. At this point in time though, ooh, the battleships are moving. Damn it! I just fired a salvo! Okay. I should have held fire on those battleships. Okay, so he's moving forwards again. His battleships are not too much of a worry, although that could be old intel. When's that intel from? Okay, so we'll actually go check that out instead. And if we just patrol right there, yeah, so if it is correct that these battleships are moving forwards again, which I have a really good feeling that this is just old intel, all we're going to do is we're going to retreat, because I know for a fact that there's only 3 battleships in this stack, and we can retreat out of their range, and then once our firepower has recharged in 58 minutes, we will, from out of range, because we have 70 kilometers worth of range, his battleships only have 60, we'll then return fire and hit them pretty hard. So that's what we're going for at the moment. Let's just make sure that we're not going to clash. No, we're not. We're all good. So we're going to figure out where these battleships are actually going, because I have a feeling that could be old intel, and then we're going to pop back off behind us. Actually, I don't need all of those to get that done. So we'll split these in half and send those guys out there to check my ass and make sure there's nothing sneaking up behind me. Even if something did sneak up behind me, I've got these 4 subs here as a rear guard to stop anything that tries to sneak up. Now, if I was him, I would be thinking about bringing a submarine around the side to attack my battleships at the back, which are actually pretty unprotected right now. That would be what I'd do anyway. So it would be a good move, but I don't think he has any subs in the region that can do that. The closest would be that there, but that's engaged with Papua New Guinea's submarine as stands. So that's what's happening here at the moment. In terms of our new aircraft, should probably, yeah. In terms of our new aircraft that are coming over, we can see that we have got some more aircraft on the way. They'll be in the region a little late to help in this conflict, but they will be able to start contributing very soon. So as we can see there, my intel was, not necessarily correct, but it showed me what we wanted to show. Enemy battleships are moving back into position. Now we can't fire for another 57 minutes, so we may as well move back. We can easily move back into range in a second. So if we group up everything, I just went around a circle there and just like ungrouped everything. Okay, we got it this time, we did it. So we're going to move well out of range, all the way back to here. That way nothing gets hit, and we should be good to go. He is, oh shit. Good, I'm going to get everything back grounded straight away. Everything back to the carriers. So what's happening here at the moment is, can we group these any faster? He's going in to attack my naval bomber squadron, and what this means at the moment is, luckily my planes are going to be able to land before he gets there. Once they land on the carriers, they have some pretty good protection, but they'll also be classified as aircraft because they are not in the air operating. So they will still have, the interceptors will still have their 8.5 defense on the carrier deck, and the naval bombers will still have their 3.1 air defense on the carrier deck because they will not be refueling. The carrier will contribute another 9, and the cruisers will contribute another 12. So I'm grounding my aircraft immediately because he simply cannot get to them before they land. So if he actually follows through with this, it is going to hurt him a lot. So we'll just hang around and watch this happen. Also notice that my food's negative at the moment. I do have quite a few barracks running, and if we were to disable the barracks, we come pretty close to being back in the positive. Oh, he pulled off. Smart cookie. He saw the trap. Anyway, we got the intel we wanted to, so let's just send that back out on patrol. I believe if I send this out on patrol, I can actually get outside the range of his aircraft. So we'll just have to double check that, and we should be all good to go. So that was a close one. Yeah, anyway, I'll be back later on with a little bit of an update on what's happening. So 1 hour has passed, and we're back a little bit later on. Now, I did slip slightly, and I accidentally let his battleships get in range of ours and attack, but because we had everything all grouped up, the damage was absorbed over all of my ships. So it wasn't that much damage in total, and because he targeted the naval bombers himself on the deck, he did even less damage. So once he fired on us, we moved back up because it was safe to head back in range. He can't attack us again, and we opened fire on everything, taking out the majority of his battleships. Well, taking out one of his battleships and leaving another pretty crippled. So that's where we're at the moment. We also moved back in range, and we were going to launch an attack against the DDs, but I accidentally set my cruisers up, and that's why the battleships got wrecked so much. But our submarines are just about to hit their DDs again, and we'll find out how that goes in a couple of seconds, if I'm right. Yep. So we managed to take out another 2. So we're making good progress at the moment. Now it is time once again to retreat back out of range. So if we group everything back up, and this time I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to fuck this up again. Well, we could do. I don't know. We'll see how we go. So we're going to move back out of range to that submarine and come back later on. So when are those subs going to take? In 3 minutes. When they do, I expect these to take a beating. I'll probably end up back down to maybe 1 or 2 at best, because 9 times 9 is, oh Jesus, 9. Oh, he just upgraded them. Okay, so we now got the same level DDs, except mine will be upgraded again above his in 10 hours. So anyway, he just upgraded his DDs, so 9 times 9 is 81, and he is at, he is only operating at 85% stat-based damage efficiency, so probably expect around 85 damage. That's just a guesstimate right there. And even then with RNG, I doubt he's going to sink many more subs than that. So he probably get 2 of my subs, but I don't expect he'd get many more than that. Because one of them is damaged, he might get 3. See how we go. So that's going to come up in 2 minutes. In the meantime, let's just have a quick look at what's happening elsewhere. So yesterday we were able to capture some of this area up here with 1 anti-tank gun, although it got taken out by our enemy's air force. Now, to help deal with the enemy air force, we're deploying our saboteurs to destroy enemy runways and to get reveal alls. So that's what we're doing at the moment. If we take out this airbase up here, then he has 1 less to operate from. He can still fly in and out of this, but if we can get his air force over here, take out that one, then we only have to cut this one off, and before we know it, he's stuck on that island with his aircraft. So there's about 10 in the area. I managed to get a cheeky blow on them last night, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I recorded that. So I did trade one of the cities for Auckland. Now the reason I traded for Auckland was because, I mean, this guy has really no other cities, but because it is close to home, so it's a good one to have. It's also going to be easier to stabilize morale here, and it's got a level 3 port, so I'll re-enable that naval base, and then I can start producing ships and aircraft closer to the front instead of sending them from all the way across in South America. From here to here is about a 2-day trip, so I'll take about 2 days off the time it takes me to get ships to the front. So if we come back over, do I need to talk for any longer? or are we there? What are we waiting for? So, oh yeah, these to attack. So 35 more seconds. If we have a look at the casualties that both sides are taking at the moment, I am up on him, but due to this fight, I have taken a few more. So if we come down to here, we can see that it is starting to even out a bit more. 9,000 to 2,000 is good odds, but I would like it to be less than that, to be honest. I was hoping to do this without taking any casualties, but due to my activity, I have let that slip. If I was smart enough just to stay at range, I could just bomb out all of his craft until he gave up. But that is an incredibly slow process, and I've already slipped, so just kind of going in and getting it done at the moment. So he attacked, yep, and he sunk 2. I was kind of expecting a little more damage than that, to be honest, but that's good. It will give us a few more rounds of combat to weaken these down. So we made some good progress, and hopefully we'll finish it in the next couple of rounds at least. So really, all I need to do is take out one of these elements. With his navy at the moment, he's got a really kind of paper, scissors, rock sort of deal going on. His battleships will beat my destroyers, his destroyers will beat my subs, and his subs will beat my battleships. So if I take out one of those elements, I just need to employ the rest to take him out. And I have cruisers, which kind of act as an intermediate between destroyers and battleships, so they're pretty good against everything, so that gives me a bit of an advantage there. So basically I destroy one element, so if I destroy the battleships, for example, I can then send my cruisers and battleships up, and he won't be able to do much to counter them. If I destroy his submarines, I send my own submarines up and battleships, and then I can take his out. If I destroy his destroyers, my submarines are even more powerful. So I'll see you soon, I guess, with another update. So we're back a little bit later on, and as you can see, the Indo-Chinese battleship is about to run into our subs. So I think that's a little bit of a mistake. I don't think he had any intention of doing it. We moved our battleships out as he moved his forwards, and I think he's just accidentally followed them forwards. So when they do attack, and hopefully they get there before, yeah, they will before his submarines attack, I'll engage in combat, and I should be able to sink one of these battleships. Hopefully, in the process, these battleships engage with submarines and attack them, wasting their attack, and then my ships can move back in and open fire on the destroyers, submarines, and battleships. There we go. As we can see, he has attacked, and he hasn't. Did he lose any? Oh no, he came close though, but I'm going to finish them off. So these submarines are going to get a kill. So if they counterattack, right there like that, should be able to sink one. There we go. Perfect. Now he's expended his attack action, so we're going to split back off. The destroyers, they're going to go in, they're going to attack the subs. The battleships, hopefully they should have enough firepower in them to finish off his battleships. If not, we'll send our cruisers to, but in the meantime, we'll send our cruisers up to attack the DDs, while our battleships, I'll move them up as well before firing, just so those submarines covering our arse have a little bit more space. We'll send them up, and then we'll open fire. So let's just do a quick check how long until we can open fire. So if we quickly just split this up, grab those and attack, we can see that we have 4 minutes. So in that 4 minutes, oh come on, don't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you take that route? Like, I mean, there's thousands of other routes. Okay, just sit there. If I get attacked behind from subs, I'm going to be kind of annoyed and sad about that. So, hate when that happens. Anyway, so we're going to attack there. We're going to attack that. Let's make sure the cruisers are going in to attack them. Yes. And destroyers are going up, and they're going to attack the submarines. Perfect. So we did lose one sub, but it was worth it for a good trade-off. So all he is left with now is, oh, it doesn't give the name of that battleship, but he's only got one battleship left, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. If we have a quick look in the newspaper, it is getting pretty goddamn close to day change, so I might just kick the new day change, or the next day video off here. It could be an interesting video. Game info, it's 25 seconds, so I'm pretty sure I've been over it, but spies in here, and yeah, there's not really much more to say. All the intel we need, but I guess at day change we might get intel that could possibly say that he's grouping his subs up for a counterattack. If he does, shouldn't be too hard to combat. Now, what we got to be careful of is that these rockets don't suddenly upgrade to level 2, in which case I have to be, or level 3, I have to be a lot careful that I do not stop, because then he can fire them at my ships, and that would not be good at all. So we have to be really mindful of that. Now let's see if it switched over to day change just yet. Yep, it has. So if we quickly just refresh the page, that way we can get the new spy report, we'll be on our way to go. So, alright, let's close the ad, and let's check espionage. Good, we got reveal all, and we got reveal all Yugoslavia, Spain, East Amazonia, what? Okay, someone's spying on East Amazonia by mistake. So we got a good little bit of intel there, and we damaged that runway. I think we took it. Ooh, that's hard to say. Damaged by a lot. Either way, it should nearly be gone. So if we have a look at the newspaper as well while we're here, we can see that Nationalist China, Indochina, China still had the mightiest armies. Due to the fact we were able to replace the losses of our fleet, we're now in pretty good standing again in here as well. But we do have some work to go to get back up to the top. If we hadn't have lost that fleet, we'd probably be up in 3rd place at the moment. So we're falling back a bit. As we can see, that fleet, these should be down here, is currently just moving back into the region to get its aircraft. So one of these, counter blow, vengeance, must be this one then that's not meant to be there, because I have one at the moment that just finished construction that, okay, there it is, okay. Let's move that there. So in the meantime, I'll move these down to this runway here, and then they'll at least be in the area ready for takeoff once again range. So nearly there. Right, so if we come over to here and we have a look at the intel we got, hopefully he isn't sending mass amounts of submarines in to murder us. No, he's not. He's got one out there. Is he moving any of his other submarines in? Ooh, not really. Okay, that's good. He's moved a lot of stuff back into his core territory. I'm going to love bombing all these out with my, oh, it's going to be so awesome. I'm going to be able to deploy my battleships soon to attack ground targets. And these stacks here, militia, I'm going to have to go for that one first. That will be really, really fun as well. Considering too that my naval bombers will be in the region shortly. I've got one on this aircraft carrier here, and another, and 4 more on the aircraft carrier behind it. So I'll have tactical bombers in the area soon to attack these weak militia targets and really grind them down. So that's what's happening there at the moment. Now have our ships attacked. Okay, 24 seconds. So in 24 seconds, hopefully what I want to see happen is we sink this last battleship, and actually, okay, that's still moving forward. So if we don't sink the battleship, we're going to have another chance with the destroyers, and they will definitely finish it off. And our destroyers are going to be in range pretty soon. So I'll probably cut the video short after the battleships fire. You'll be able to probably figure out what happens. So let's see. Aww. That was not nearly as much damage as I expected, because I mean, like, you look at this and you think 3 times 28 is 84. Is that good math? I think it's 84. It's 84. And then you look at the battleship and you realize the battleship only has 75 hit points. So you think, how can I fuck this up? How can we not kill it? Well, there's RNG in this game, and I absolutely hate it at times. So we didn't kill it. Hopefully, between the firepower that my cruisers have, 14 times 5 is 70. So hopefully once they get into range and they open fire, they should be able to deal enough damage to hit it. All we need is just over 50% of the damage to actually go through. So if we prioritize them to attack like that, 1 minute 27, we'll play it out and see how it goes. In the meantime, let's just have a look at the newspaper and see if we actually got attacked by any spies. Ooh, tax revenue stolen. Someone's been spying on me. Okay, yeah. Damn it, I'm still losing more land up here, eh? This sucks. At least the morale is slowly steadying, but I need to spend more on fortifications. So, luckily I'm not losing anything too major, but it is kind of annoying, eh? On a side note though, I was over my VP count in the region here. My allies should definitely have gotten more, especially King Congo, so it's good to see that some of the land has rebelled to him, although it's not nice on my economy, although it will make my food slightly more easier to manage. So if we come back down here, hopefully those cruisers have returned fire. Have they? No, nearly there, 30 seconds. And once they do so, I expect that this battleship here will be sunk. Once the battleship's sunk, we pretty much free to operate in the region again. We can take out the submarines, take out the destroyers, and then just start bombing coastal targets up around here and draw his air force and all of his troops back up into the region to defend. So at least that's the goal. He has also reinforced these fortifications up around here, but I mean, no one's attacking him from that angle. From what I understand, Alberta's going to finish on National China, then I can just play with this guy over here. It also appears that Indochina may be going for some land grabs and trying to grab as much land as possible from the UK. If we all see over here, some land has rebelled to North India, who has shared map with me, so we can see that, and we can also see that tactical bombing unit. So he does have plenty more aircraft in the region, and we're going to have to find a way to deal with those. But once our fleets bring up more aircraft, we should be able to do just fine against that. So, cruisers, have they finally fired? Yes, they have. 27. So what was it on before? It was like on something like 50 health, right? 45 health. And my cruisers only managed to do about 25, so 1/3 of the expected damage output. Which means I'm going to have to retreat. Now if they're attacking the submarine squadron, okay, I'll retreat in a second, get outside of range and go and finish it off. So this is probably the last bit of this episode you'll get for today, but I'll see you in the next one.